So what's the Grape Explorer talking about today? Well, one of the most interesting wines in France is Provence Rose. And Provence Rose is a very interesting wine. Even 25 years ago, I imported Provence Rose, and it didn't quite take off back in 20 years ago. But then all of a sudden, people started to really get into rosé wines, and I said, look, I have to have at least one producer of rosé. And the reason why I say that is because I'll tell you quite truthfully, I don't drink rosé on a normal basis, everyday basis. But if I drink rosé, I always tell people it better be really good. And I found a really good one here. So this is Chateau Pas Du Cerf. It's actually owned by the Gutierrez family. And this is called Cuvee Diane. And basically Diane is one of the daughters that is running the property. But, this family's owned this property since 1848. So, quite strict family to what they really want to do. They're located in an area called Elon. So if we look on the transit map, we can actually see Provence all the way down here. So if you look here, you can see what's called the Côte de Provence. And what this special area is called Elon. So it's hilly, and if you stand on the top of the hill, you can actually see the Mediterranean. So you're actually that close to the Mediterranean. And if anybody remembers, I just did another YouTube video on one of our other producers in Gaillac, and I said that a lot of people don't realize that's the second oldest region in France, Gaillac. But what was the oldest region, number one? That would be the question in something like that. What's the number one region? It's called Provence. These vineyards originally were planted by the Greeks, because the Greeks came in and they set up shop all along the Mediterranean here, and they took all their grapes and they planted all different grapes in this area, and they were conducive to this wine. So, but this wine is quite unique in its blend. So basically this is 60% grenache, 20% cinsault, 10% mourvedre, and then 10% of a grape called tibouren. And tibouren is a very, very interesting grape. You only see it in Provence. Again, we're talking about like an ancient grape that was actually planted here for many, many centuries. But this tibouren actually gives this wine some really interesting expression. Why I like these wines when I first tasted them, because they had mineral tone. And if anybody knows me, I talk about salinity, and I talk about sea spray, and I talk about everything that's close to maritime and coastal kind of vineyards. And what that does, it gives the wine a really, really interesting flavor profile. But Côte de Provence, there's some really good ones out there. But what I like about this is a family-owned property. They're small to medium size. They're not big. 80 to 90% of their production is rosé wine. They do make red and they do make white wines, but most of their production is rosé. We've always felt that this is one of the top producers of Provence Rosé, and rosé you can actually drink all year round. So we wanted to give a little heads up. We have our local shop, which is Dave Constandi, that owns Point Lookout Liquors. We want to give a shout out because we live here in Point Lookout in Long Island. We love Long Island because we're right near the ocean, right near the beach. But Dave does a really, really great job. He sells this Diane. He's doing a bang up job selling these wines. But at the same time, he knows that people come in and they grab this because they say, I want the Diana, because it's better than any other rosé that's on the shelf. Again, this is the Grape Explorer, talking about grapes and talking about wine.